I've been living as a digital nomad for over 3 years now. And in this video, I'm going to go through how it's really like to be a digital nomad, how my life has changed and evolved, and how my digital nomad life has evolved. So first of all, I'm Alex. I've been running my cybersecurity company, Rivanorth, which is a SaaS business, and living as a digital nomad for over 3 years now. So how did it all start? I think the idea kind of came to me during COVID. We were all locked up at home, couldn't really travel much, and unfortunately experienced quite a few deaths around me, like people passing away. And it kind of got me thinking, right? Life is not endless, and the real variable is we don't know how long we're going to live, right? Like I could live till I'm 100 years old, or much shorter, right? So I was like, how can I do more with the time that I have? And one idea was, well, I don't really want to quit working. First of all, because I didn't have enough money to never work again, so it just would have been like temporary. And I've done that kind of in between my studies, when I did my undergrad, and then in between my undergrad and postgrad, I took a few months to just travel, and it was really nice. But then kind of like you obviously spend more, or maybe you don't spend more, but you don't earn anything, so kind of your savings go down. And once your savings are low, I started just wondering, what am I going to do next? How am I going to make money? So I kind of knew that I didn't want to just travel. I wanted to also be earning money, right? And there was another component also of being mentally stimulated. So like traveling is fun, but I think for me personally, after 3 or 4 months, I want something more like being intellectually stimulated as well, whatever that might be. Obviously that can be different for anyone, but that was the case for me. So I was like, okay. With my previous employer, it was not possible to be a digital nomad and work for them. So I decided to quit and start my own business, and kind of everything went from there. So the trip started in Australia. So went around Australia. It wasn't like a full lap around the continent, but it was more like an S shape, and then with lots of like offshoots here and there. And initially the focus was a lot like just getting out there and ticking those boxes, doing lots of outdoor activities. I traveled using a big 4-wheel drive with all the stuff on there, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Like I knew more or less, but I didn't have the ideas so clear, business style. So initially it was very much consulting, cybersecurity consulting. And I used to move a lot. So like initially every 2 days, every 2 nights, it was like a different place, because you get started and you really want to see new places fast and quickly. And then I think the progression from day 1 or day 0 to now over 3 years is that initially I was working not as much. I think it was probably 4 or 5 hours a day, like of focused work. And just leaving plenty of time to really enjoy myself. And I think then later on I had this idea to build a SaaS, and so then started building the SaaS. And I think once I got clients and work got more demanding, but also more exciting, right? Like for example, at the beginning it was more travel, and now these days I probably work 10 to 12 hours every day. And just the weekends are kind of dedicated to enjoying myself, but the week is really focused on optimizing everything as much as I can for work. So you can see the difference, but it's like if before I was feeling, before starting this, that I wasn't getting enough out of my life, now I'm perfectly happy with this choice of just working more. It feels good. I'm very excited. It's very stimulating. So I'm very happy to do that. This to say, things change, and if you're looking into becoming a digital nomad, you can really do it whichever way you want. You can just do it for a few months, a few years, or do it forever. Like literally anything is valid in my opinion. I think as long as you're not living in the same place and staying in the same place, it's all kind of a flavor of being a digital nomad. Also, what was really good from my perspective, bootstrapping my company, it gave me lots of flexibility with my funds. So the money that I had saved, I could choose, based on how far I would drive, or based on the activities I chose to do, where to spend my money, or reinvest it into the business. I reinvested a lot. and still do into the business because I don't have to pay rent. So yes, I have other expenses, but mostly it's less than living in a big city. I used to live in Sydney, so definitely less than rent over there. And do I still enjoy it? Yes, absolutely, I still enjoy it. It gives me the ability to be wherever I want to be and also wherever I need to be. I think, again, not having to pay rent or be forced to be in one place, maybe more open to travel for work as well, conferences especially. So because I had the extra budget, I mean, like, I think if you're normally bootstrapping, you have your rent, right? And then you have to travel and to the conference, so you get a hotel or an Airbnb, whatever you're getting. So you're kind of like doubling your rent for that period of time. And for me, not having any rent, going to conferences was kind of a no-brainer. Like I was like, got to leave somewhere, right? So might as well get something out of work. So I started doing way more conferences the last year or so because it started making sense business-wise. Usually I speak at conferences. I don't usually go to conferences if I'm not a speaker. I just found that business-wise to work way better for me. But yeah, that was like another kind of unexpected side benefit of the digital nomad stuff, that I could go to more conferences more often, and that kind of allowed me also to build like a good friendship network. Obviously I've been traveling mostly around Australia, a bit Singapore, but now I'm like have pockets of good friends, and every time I go back, probably Melbourne and Sydney are kind of like the hubs in Australia for cybersecurity, so that's where I tend to go more often. But it's similar people that have friends. You know, I didn't know anyone on the western side of Australia. Now I have good friends in the west, many in Perth as well. So it's really helped me. I think in the business world, we often talk about like the negative impacts of like a digital nomad lifestyle or working from home. But if there are nice ways to use it, and I'm super happy the friendships and the connections that I've created all over Australia and the world. I went to a trip to Europe, you know, and again, not having to have a fixed rent at home. I'm like, sure, I'll go 10 days to London. You know, I used to work and live in London. Studied there, so reconnected with lots of friends, met some new people that then introduced me to people in Australia. And I think these days with AI, we see, or I personally believe, that human connections are more and more important. So me being able to travel and connect with these people and just catch up, you know, have a meal, have a drink, have a coffee, has been super special. And sure, there is a business component to that, but I've been really enjoying it, and it's like really nice and pleasant, and I see people that I wouldn't otherwise see and have good conversations, which is really cool. So then I made a post recently on social media if anyone had some questions to answer. So I'll go through some of them. I got asked if I had any tips for someone transitioning into cybersecurity from like a tech background whilst living as a digital nomad. To be perfectly honest, I think it's pretty hard. I think this suits better if you already have some skills. It's just basically because your employer, if you're looking to be employed, will be more inclined to hire you if you're already skilled at doing things. Plus, I think there's a 50-50 split, probably maybe not 50-50, but some people are really against it and they're like, no, you cannot live and work like that. So they will never. So I think you're already cutting your pool in half, if not more. Specifically now as someone entering the industry, it's going to be pretty hard for you to enter cybersecurity these days, just because the demand for entry level people is just so much lower. Corporates, big companies, you'll struggle there too because of their compliance and all their policies, and usually digital nomad is not something that you find there. But if you're really skilled and have some good skills to bring to the table, I think small and mid-sized companies would be interested in you. I know, especially like cybersecurity people in general don't like to be exposed too much on social media and stuff. But if that's something you're looking to do, I think being active on social media and really showcasing what you're doing, it's going to help you a lot, because if someone finds you because of your skills, even though you're not maybe the best, but you're showing and you're putting the effort in and you're showing that you're committed, they will be way more likely to hire you regardless of your location, of your lifestyle type. So yeah, to sum it up, not easy, but it's certainly doable, I think. Like, if that's something you want to do, you'll make it work. probably short-term work as well, contracts and stuff. But again, you gotta have some skills. Like if you're starting from zero, it's gonna be very hard. But I guess if you are like at least a little bit in, you'll find a way. But don't expect this to be the easy way. Obviously, if you're getting into cyber and want to live as a digital nomad, it's probably as hard as you can make it. Not impossible, but not easy. If you're more advanced in your career, I think you can do it. But I think these days, social media and building a reputation, whichever way you do it, so that you're kind of known and people hire you for your skills and don't have any doubts about your skills, will definitely help you push your lifestyle. Yeah, then I got asked like, how is it being a founder? I think that's all pretty good with the flexibility it gives me. Obviously, Australia have a bit like time zone challenges, so that's a bit annoying at times. But all in all, I can definitely recommend it. The flexibility to travel, connect with people in real person and in real life, and for bootstrapping, not having the rent expenses. That helps a lot, especially if you come from a big city. Probably if you live in a place where rent is not expensive, probably won't apply to you as much. So what do I do? Most of my days is really security research, and then taking that research from the dark web, data security kind of space, into the enterprise SaaS, where we monitor for companies if their data is safe and it didn't get leaked on the dark web, or for example, if some of the third parties that they share the data with didn't leak it, and yeah, so that's the whole spiel about that. I'm getting more and more questions about starting a business in the industry, in a cybersecurity industry, which I find weird because I don't see myself as a business guru. I'm pretty new to this as well. So don't really feel like giving too much advice, but since the question was asked to me multiple times, I think a few things I've learned so far is leading with value, especially if you are new. I try to always bring value every interaction I have. So whatever that might be, but this is a bit of a vague statement, so you make of it what you want, but just whenever someone interacts with you, I think you should go away with the feeling that you gave them more than you received. And I think this will compound, whether it is, like business value or just interaction, but just make every interaction valuable for the people that interact with you. And stay lean if you're bootstrapping. Keep expenses to the minimum. Don't waste money. Spend it on things that matter, and don't hire too early. And yeah, just stay lean and have a long time horizon. Like if you're new to it, I'm still new to it, but I guess I have a couple of years under my belt now. You just need time in the game, and you learn. Like if I compare what I was doing on day one to what I do now, it's a massive change. So yeah, if you do this, lead with value always. Stay lean, which means you can stay in the game for longer. That will allow you to learn, and if you're a curious person willing to learn and not repeat your mistakes, I'm sure you'll be fine. And when it comes to expertise for a cybersecurity business, I think things are changing so much these days that even if you're newer to the industry, like for example, 5 years ago, if you wanted to do a specialist code review consulting business, obviously you needed quite a bit of the background as a maybe software developer, so you can read and navigate code. Then you needed to know a lot about software vulnerabilities, web application vulnerabilities, and then go and find them. So you needed quite an advanced skill set that you probably needed a decades probably to build, to be really good at it to start your own business. These days with AI, it's so new, so everyone kind of like starts from zero. So you could build an AI security business where, if you've been doing that for 1 or 2 years, you probably have the expertise that most people have in this very niche area. So I think there are opportunities. Yeah, it's just really having a time horizon, choosing something and giving it a good crack. And the last question I got asked, what do you do to relax and switch off after the daily grind? I think that's a very good question, especially these days. So for me now, I try not to work weekends because I burnt myself out. I did a stint where I worked. I had a big deadline and had to deliver a lot of extra features for the product, and I worked 3 weeks straight. Like imagine waking up, I had like obviously lunch break, a bit of exercise here and there every couple of days. Try to go for like 10,000 steps each day for a walk, and then also working after dinner. That's straight for 21 days in the same day, just every day the same like that. And then I was completely burnt out, and I noticed that it took me more time to recover. So then I was like wiped for like 10 days. So I was like, wait, so it doesn't make sense to burn myself out like that. This is a marathon, right? So rather really try to take my weekends, force myself, so that I don't accumulate this tiredness over the long term. Obviously, sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes I work, but I really try to give my mind a break, so I can just recharge and I can think about things clearly. So I try to have these pockets. My huge big hobbies are surfing and spearfishing, or like diving in general. Diving is obviously very like conditions dependent, and spearing, so it's probably more like a weekend thing that I do. So if the conditions are good on a Saturday or Sunday, I will dedicate the whole day, because it is kind of like a whole day thing, you know. Going there, I usually like to dive for 2 or 3 hours, sometimes 3.5. So then obviously cleaning all your gear, hopefully some fish or some crays, cooking it up. So it's like a very, reconnecting with nature, staying far away from screens, and more consistently surfing. I think my weekends are dedicating just physical exercise, surfing, and I try to fit in 1 or 2 surfs maybe in the week, just to get myself out there and disconnect from technology, because if not, I think it can become a lot these days. So this is kind of what I do to switch off. Obviously, if I'm in an interesting place, seeing some sites. I like digging in like into the culture, and try understanding the cultural background. So this is kind of what I do to relax, and I think throughout the years I learned how important this is, and to not neglect this, as especially business I think is a marathon, not a sprint. And plus I enjoy this, so I want to make it sustainable and keep on doing it. So I think this is pretty much it. If there are more questions that you'd like to ask me, feel free to drop them down in the comments. And perhaps I'll make a follow-up video or an update in a few months' time, see things are going.